Hey everyone, KSLA First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle here. It's been a very active start to the new year, and that continues. We've got two more big weather makers that are going to be on the way in the next several days. The first one coming up Thursday night into Friday morning. This will be our next best chance for rain and thunderstorm activity across the Arklatex and potentially some severe weather. Again, this will be late night, Thursday night, probably into very early Friday morning. We'll keep you first alert about that. We will turn windy and colder behind this system on Friday, and that will be the first of two chunks of chillier air. The second one will be the doozy with an Arctic blast on the way heading into the beginning of next week. That's likely to bring temperatures down into the teens for overnight lows by next Monday night. Again, this colder air starts coming in for the end of the weekend, the start of next week. We do expect a big temperature drop, coldest air of the season, and with this shot of cold air moving in, some wintry precip is possible. Now, we are less certain about the details of that in terms of any snow or ice accumulations, but we'll say that is still on the table at this point in time. And as we get closer, we'll be able to get a little bit more detailed as to what the expectations are, and in particular, what the impacts will be. Of more certainty is that it's just going to get cold. And in fact, we're talking about pipe-busting cold weather as we head into early next week. We may go a couple days with temperatures barely at or above the freezing mark. So stay tuned for the latest on that as this next Arctic blast, in fact, really the first true one of the winter season, moves into the Arklatex the start of next week. All right, let's talk a little bit here about your Wednesday, and we're not going to have any weather issues. Overnight tonight, clear skies, the wind will die down. Temperatures will be cold in the morning, though. We do expect to start at or below the freezing mark in most areas, maybe a couple patches of clouds early on your Wednesday. Plenty of sun, though, expected through the day tomorrow, and as winds kick back around to a southerly direction, we'll actually warm up pretty good from where we start in the morning. By the time we reach the midday hours, middle to upper 50s, and I do expect to see afternoon numbers in most places in the low 60s for your Wednesday. First Alert 7-day forecast looking like this. Thursday, clouds will start to roll back in, but any chance for rain should stay pretty low through the daytime hours. 67 will be that high. Again, late Thursday night into Friday morning, tracking rain and thunderstorm activity. And again, there might be a risk of severe weather that develops. I will say that's not necessarily set in stone, but there is that potential based on the overall weather setup, so we'll be monitoring that closely. 55 on Friday probably happens during the morning hours. We'll fall back into the 40s heading into the afternoon in the wake of the rainfall, which should taper off no later than mid-morning on Friday. Weekend overall, in terms of dry weather, looks decent. Temperatures, though, a little chilly, cold in the morning, cool in the afternoon, with numbers expected in the low 50s, but generally quiet weather expected for the bulk of the weekend. And then we hit early next week, and again, that next Arctic blast coming on in drops us into the low 20s Sunday night. We only make it back to around freezing on Monday, and with a little moisture interacting with this colder air, there is the likelihood that we're going to see some wintry precip here around the Arklatex. Better chances of snow will be in the north. We may see a little bit of a wintry mix in other parts of the area. The thing that we'll kind of be fine-tuning in the forecast as we get closer is how much of that wintry precip we can expect, and that will largely play into the expected impacts around here if there are travel concerns. Otherwise, again, it's all about the cold. The coldest night, Monday night into Tuesday morning, down into the teens. Again, that's pipe-busting cold, so go ahead and be prepared. You're going to have to let those faucets drip and all that good stuff that you do when it gets this cold around here. Otherwise, we will see at least sunshine back on Tuesday, but again, struggling to get much above freezing. Latest on your weather always here on our website, KSLA.com, also on your smartphones with the KSLA First Alert weather app. Meteorologist Matt Jones will be in on your Wednesday morning. He'll have the latest details on those storms for Thursday night and the Arctic chill and any wintry precip for early next week in your forecast starting at 4:30 a.m. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you first thing in the morning.